Welcome back to the Croquet Valley YouTube channel. This video is about the new advantage scoring system and is particularly aimed at all players, some new to the game, some more experienced, but it's for all players. We're going to show you a summary of the rules in the Northwest and a summary of how and what you need to know when you turn up to play, whether it's an internal match or a league match. We're going to show you some slides and some practical examples, and we hope you enjoy the video. If you do enjoy it, please press the like button at the end. In the Northwest, the Federation traditionally has used the extra strokes scoring system for the GC Handicap League. For the 2023 season, this is changing, and we're now going to be using the advantage scoring system. It's to be reviewed at the AGM in November 2023 as to how successful it's been and how clubs welcome the change. The current league rule, 22, allows that between clubs and teams, 18 games per match is allowed, or 16 with prior agreement of both captains. So we can have at the moment 1 round of doubles and or 4 rounds of singles. And if you play a 16 game match, the score is scaled up to the equivalent 18 game result when entered in the league table. Rule 21 in the 6th edition of the WCF rules introduces advantage play as an option. It's a simpler way for players of different abilities to play each other using level play rules, i.e. you play, I play, someone scores a hoop, you play, I play. Extra strokes are therefore no longer used. Players will start therefore on a score between -4 and 2. And the first to 7 points wins the game. You have to remember as well, if you're starting on a minus number, when you've run a hoop, you may still be on a minus number, or you may go to 0, then 1. But just remember that 0 is a number and it counts on your way from -4 to 7. Maximum hoops to run to win, say, is 11 if you're starting on -4. Or the minimum is 5 if you're starting on with 2 on the advantage post. There are no time limits. This table shows the starting scores all the way from -6 to 14. The stronger player at the bottom is shown, and you work the matrix to the weaker player to get to a score. Most of the games will take place to the sort of bottom right hand corner between 4 and 14, and a lot of the scores are 0-0, -1-0, 0-1, -2-0. So there's not big differentials between your start scores, but it reflects your present handicap. It's important to refer to this table before starting any match. So the Federation, well, it's very helpful to work out your starting scores in advance of the match. We recommend captains exchange players' names, maybe even a night or 2 before, with the current handicap, and agree the start scores for when they get there on the day of the match. If you're playing doubles, you use half the sum of the 2 handicaps together, with any halves rounded up. So if you've got 2 sevens playing together, you add them together, the 14, and you halve them, they'll start on player with the 7 handicap. If you start with a 10 handicap and a 12 handicap, you add them together, 22, they would start with an average therefore of 11. So that game would be 7 against 11. The maximum handicap per player in the league is 12. And there's no such thing anymore as the golden hoop, as the deciding hoop is always at score 6-6, and can range, depending on start scores, from hoops 12 to 15. And the shortest game can be, therefore, is at hoop 5, because if somebody starts on score 2 and they run all 5 hoops, then the game is finished. How many clips do we need? Well, again, this table will be freely available, but basically it's showing what your start score is. You've worked that out from the chart before. You then see how many clips you need. You then either put some on the advantage post, which is located somewhere near the first corner, or you put some onto the centre peg if you're in a minus position. And then you carry the rest to run. And as with now, when you've run out of clips, your point score is 6, and you have one more hoop to run to win the game. So how do we reconcile part way through? Well, all the way through, you place your positive score clips on the advantage post to start with, and you also place any negative scores on the centre peg. You then keep all other pegs visible on your clothing. And you get used to announcing the start score before the first shot, and also after every hoop has been run, place a peg on the hoop and announce the score, giving the stronger player's score first. So even if you're on -1 to 0, and then the player off 0 scores the first hoop, you would still say -1, 1, and so on. Primary clips are recommended to go on the crown, and secondary clips on the upright to aid visibility wherever possible. And the score can be confirmed at any time in the game by counting the clips on the hoops in the usual way. For a player with a positive score, you add the clips that he's put on the advantage post. And with a player with a negative score, you add the hoops as now, and then you subtract the number of clips on the centre peg. A simple way of reconciliation. This has been tried and tested in the south, and we recommend this is the way it's done in the northwest. 1 or 2 people may still want to use their own way of scoring, beads, whatever, improvisation. That's all well and good, but the peg system is what the CA wants us to know, and that's universally accepted across the UK. So it's important that we work with the clip system. Recording scores. All official club, North West Federation and CA games must be entered on your handicap card as now. And because it's handicap, you're meant to have an equal 50-50% chance of winning, and you go plus or minus 10 points per game, which is the same now as handicap. But you use A in the column for what type of game, not H for handicap or L for level play. As I say, if your and your opponent's handicap are correct, then you should expect to win and lose 50% of games. Basically, embrace the new system. Get out and play it at your club before your first league game. Use the charts that are available and get used to scoring. And good luck. So now we come to the practical examples. You'll remember on slide 3 there was the table of scores ranging from people that are on -6 handicap to 14. Your club will have one of these in the northwest to put up in the clubhouse, so that covers every eventual game. On the other side, there's also a chart of how many pegs that you might need. So as we showed before, if you start on 2, you'll still need 6 pegs. You'll put 2 on the advantage post and you'll carry 4 with you to run. When you've run the 4th peg, you've got 1 more hoop to run to win the game, as is now. But most games will take part between players with a 4 handicap through to a 12. So for the Northwest, we've done a simplified version of 1st to 7 point games, and most of those games, well, the worst is -2 to 2. Most can be 0-0, or most with just 1 difference. Also, on the back, there's pocket size for each team player, and several other ones for each club. For club members, we've got your starting score there, the number of clips you need, whether you're putting them on the advantage post at the side of the first corner or onto the centre peg, and then how many hoops you've still got to carry to run. And as I say, you run your hoops, then you have to run one more to win the game. So there'll be a lot of games. There's now 0-0. You start with six pegs, and red will start with 6 pegs. Off you go, run the game as now. If it gets to 6-6, you're on the 13th, which is the deciding hoop. As you'll see from the examples, the deciding hoop can be anything from 12, 13, 14, or even 15 in the games that involve a -4 player to a 2. So bear in mind now, there's no golden hoop, it is a deciding hoop. So let's use another example. The example is the strong player is handicap 9, the weaker player is handicap 12. The start score 9 to 12 is 0 to 1. With 0 to 1, how many pegs do we need? The 0 player needs 6 and the 1 player needs 6. The only difference is the person starting on 1, the weaker player, will be putting one of their pegs on the advantage post, and the other chap or lady will carry all 6 as now. So they've both got the 6 pegs. The stronger player carries his 6. The weaker player, who lost the toss, puts 1 on the advantage post. So straight away, they're 1-0 up. So, as I say, red's got 5 to carry, blue's got 6 to carry. Let's say red runs the first hoop. You've got to get used to this announcing the stronger player's score first. So stronger player is still on 0, weaker player has scored 1 and 1 advantage. So the score is 2-0 after 1 hoop. All the way around, you're always going to be 1 hoop difference to what you've actually run. But let's just then say blue comes back. Blue scores 2, red 3, blue 4, blue 5, red 6, blue 7. What's the score, we ask ourselves at this stage? Well, simple. The stronger player adds how many clips they've got on their hoops, less any they may have on the advantage post. So blue, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're on 4. They started on 0. And red, because they've got an advantage post start, you count the ones on the hoops, 1, 2, 3, plus whatever's on the advantage post. So after 7 hoops, the score is 4-4. Both have got 2 clips each left. So let's say red runs that one, and red runs that one. Well, that's perfect, because now, after 9 hoops, we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the weaker player, but we should announce first the 4 blues. So it's 4, 6, and there's blue. Let's say blue runs 10 and he runs 11. Again, blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Red 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 across, and we're going down to 12. This is their deciding hoop. Whoever wins that hoop wins the game. And the game can finish in certain circumstances. If an advantage player starts with 2 here, the game can be over as short as 5 hoops. But this game, we've gone 6-6, 0-1, and the deciding hoop's 12. That's the first example. From your chart, you'll see the start score. 10 is the stronger player, 12 the weaker player, -1 to 0. What does that mean in terms of pegs? Well, it means the stronger player, -1, carries 8 pegs. And he'll be putting 1 on the centre peg and carrying 7 to run the hoops. Here's the stronger player with their 8. They put 1 on the centre peg and have 7 to play with. The other guy or lady starts on 0, just has the 6 as normal. Nobody on the advantage post. So as we mentioned before, we score as normal. Blue scores the first hoop. What's the score after that? Stronger player has scored 1, but got 1 on the advantage post. So it's 1 -1, he's on 0. The score after 1 hoop is 0-0. Again, you'll be 1 hoop out. You've run an odd numbered hoop, but your score is even at 0-0. Red comes back and wins number 2. Red wins number 3. Red wins number 4. Blue comes back with 5 and 6. Red won 7. Blue runs 8. So where are we after 8 hoops? Stronger player. 1, 2, 3, 4. Less 1. So blue is on 3. Red, 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 4. Okay? So we're at the situation where it's 3-4 after 8 hoops. And why do we know that? Red has still got 2 pegs to run +1 to win the game. Blue has got 3 to run +1 to win the game. Next hoop, red, red, blue and blue. Is it golden hoop time? Well, no, because blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, less 1, they're on 5 with 1 to run, plus the extra 1 to get to 7. Red on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at this situation of 6-5, so you go to the 13th. 13th, blue runs. We're now at 6-6. So their deciding hoop becomes the 14th. And the way you do it is around the outside, so 14 is there, 15 if needed is here. You can't go past 15, that's the worst case scenario. But again, quite a simple concept. You're putting your pegs on as now, you take 1 off there, you can't add anything there because there's nothing there. Each club in the Northwest will be supplied a first to 7 points advantage scoring card, which gives all handicap ranges from -6 up to 14. Although the vast majority of games will take place between probably 3, 4, 5 handicaps and 10, 12, 14s, the chart covers every scenario, and that should be up on the clubhouse wall somewhere. Each club has also been sent a copy to put on the wall and to have near the peg baskets of how many hoops you need, how many clips you need for the hoops you need to run. So this chart says your starting score, you could start on 2 or as low as -4, and your total number of clips that you need to take is in the second column. So often you'll still just take the 6 clips as now, but only when you start scoring as -1 will you need 8 clips. Why 8? Because you have to run 7 to get to 1 more to win. Then how many to put on the advantage post, how many on the centre peg, and how many clips to run. So when you've run out of clips, your score is 0. You'll have one more hoop to run to win the game. So that's available at every club. Each Northwest club will also be sent a number of pocket-size carry on the court guides, and this is for your individual player ranging from 4 to 12 to see the exact start score line. As I say, it's an extract from the bigger chart that should be on the clubhouse wall. And also on the other side is your own version of how many clips you need. So you should be able to agree with your opponent what you're doing, how many clips you need, where you're putting them, and off you go. And hopefully this will be a good aid for all the players in the Northwest.